Hello, and welcome to the Gers TV. My name's Cy Leslie.
I'm Vivian.
I'm Gordon.
We've got Lewis in the corner there.
Hello.
We've got
No one puts Lewis in the corner.
Lily slabbing away as usual. Guys, it's a different time slot tonight. We're going to get a wee go at 7 o'clock for a change. 45 minutes and try and do 2 shows a week. One being a Zoom and then the Saturday morning pre-match. That's the plan. We'll see how it goes. So if you can help us, a lot of people won't know we're on at 7. Can you give us a wee share? That would be great. If you could just share away. God knows why the dog just started panting as soon as we got live.
Was that the dog? Oh, sorry. Cool, okay. Thought it was Lewis.
Will we do some comments?
Thought it was Lewis in the
I
background.
will quickly do the
Let's
comments
do the
and get so
comments.
many shares if we can.
I've still got a husky voice for the weekend, so I'll give it a
Yeah.
go. Hi Donna.
Just get my shares in. She's
I've
doing
got
it.
Tommy McLean saying hello. Duncan Cameron. Hope we're all feeling
Hi,
better.
Duncan. Still a wee bit unwell for last week, and then I had two beers on Saturday, and feeling a wee bit rough with that. So all good, but a lot better now actually. Unfortunately, the result didn't help, but feeling a wee bit better. Thank you very much, Donna. Hope you're well, and Warren. Hope you enjoyed the parade tonight. Mark did the graveyard shift. Good to have you.
Craig Watson from Cumbernauld.
What's it called?
I know, that's where I grew up. I wonder if I know him actually.
Hi, David Stewart and Davey's husband Paula's on Paula Crockett. So
Hi Paula.
Wee bit of sharing, guys. If you can get some sharing, that will help us get the word out. We're starting early tonight. Just sending this one to the Swedish Ranger Supporters Club.
and Angus Gladstone, hi from London,
All the way from London.
all the way from London. Good to have you. Few new comments and people commenting tonight. So if you're joining us for the first time or the last time, or maybe not the last time, but every week or your regulars, then thank you for your support. Okay, as Simon says, slightly earlier start time today, and we're going to try and do 1 or 2, maybe possibly 3 shorter shows every week rather than a big long week. Yeah, a big long show once a week. So sorry, I've not been on for a few weeks, so I'm very rusty. But
I'm sitting agreeing with you.
I know he's like that. 7 shows a week. That sounds good actually. Aye.
We've got Neil all the way from Toronto.
Aye.
Hi Neil.
Hi,
Yeah.
Neil. Remind me,
Some
I'll send you a
new faces
message
from
through the week. I'm
regulars.
going to get booked up for the convention this week, so
Well-
I know you were speaking to Mark Dingwall through the weekend, Neil, so I'll send you a message later on, or maybe through the week.
I've been looking. I've done some research on that, Simon, so we can catch up. That's it sounds absolutely fantastic. So hopefully in the next few weeks, try to get some plans in place for that.
I'm going to see if I can take... I cut my finger about 10 minutes before the show, so I'm hoping I can take this off. It's not going to start gushing of blood again. Seems alright. Stabbed it with a knife. Anyway, let's get into the nitty gritty.
So straight into it.
Before we start talking about the Rangers Celtic game at the weekend, Gordon, quickly, we've just done a wee plug on the page there for your podcast you done. Do you want to talk about that?
Yep. So as many of you will know, the Gers TV, we have got a brand new, spanking Spotify channel where we do podcasts. We have been concentrating on doing history shows with David Herd. Please check them out. They last between 30 and 40 minutes. So if you listen to them on the way to work, then the way back to work, they're ideal timing. We did something new in the last couple of weeks. I wasn't able to upload it last week because a lot of family stuff going on, plus I wasn't too well. So it's now live on our Spotify channel, and as many of you will now know, there's been a new First Minister in Scotland, and Gers TV and a good friend of the show, Mark Dingwall, who's Editor-in-Chief of Follow, we discussed the latest going on in Scottish politics with the demise and resignation of the SNP. Leader Nicola Sturgeon, and obviously First Minister, and I think with everything else going on, it's probably going to be a follow up in the next couple of weeks as well, because there's a lot of things getting released, a lot of information coming out, and it certainly seems that there's a dark side to the current SNP administration. So the link's there at your leisure. Check it out and have a listen to our fantastic Spotify episodes and a podcast on there. And many thanks to David Herd for all his help with the other ones. We've got some more to go up for him, and Mark Dingwall as well. So thank you very much. Please.
So we'll have a quick chat about the match in a minute, and after that we'll just open the phone lines up. Anybody wants to call, you can call at any time. I'll start us off with just a quick chat by reading out the statement made by Rangers today regarding the SPFL and the incident at the weekend with Alfredo Morelos, where he was denied a goal. A blatant mistake by the referee. My concern about it before, I've already made a statement the weekend, but my concern's not just the referee, it's the fact that it doesn't go to VAR. I've read comments that went to VAR for a few seconds. An incident like that's got to go to VAR, and it should be looked at 15-4 angles. And if it is looked at with the different angles, there's no a panel in the world that's not going to get it as a goal. But not to look at it at all is shocking. So,
well, sorry, slightly, but I think it was. I think it was looked at very, very briefly. I don't think it was looked at for long. I think they had I think that Kevin Clancy gave the foul, and then within a few seconds, VAR had confirmed it. I think Nick Walsh was doing VAR duties on Saturday.
that's right.
And I think he confirmed it, but it doesn't, take away from the point that almost, I think, every pundit and every person analysing it has come out and said that it was six of one, half dozen off the other, and for a goal to get chopped off at that, I don't, it didn't lose us the game, but it certainly contributed. Certainly contributed to us losing the game, and just think it just highlights the inadequacies of referees in Scotland as well.
It does make a kind of mockery of the game. We've spoke about how we're going to bring in VAR, how important it was going to be and how big it was going to be, and yet again the biggest decision in the match, they miss it.
Yeah, I've said every week on this show and in the pub wherever I am talking about it, and they ask my opinion, that it's not VAR in itself that's the issue, or VAR's not a good thing or a bad thing. VAR's there. It's the people that are looking at it and the people that are interpreting.
And if it's the wrong people, it's pointless.
The issue. So VAR is only as good or as bad as the person that's reviewing it.
Yeah. 100%.
So.
But they've also got to get a few. I think if you're going to do a VAR check, you need to look at it from a few angles and take a couple of seconds out.
Of course.
To take that quickly is just pointless.
I think just to get it out the road as well. I think if anything, I think it's Alistair Johnston, who had a good game as well. Like, you can't deny that. He's a very very we got obviously biased towards Rangers, of course we are, but we need to acknowledge that we did get beat. I think that he had a very good game, but he's clearly holding on to Morelos before Morelos pushes him back. So if anything, it would go to VAR, and it should have been a penalty to Rangers if that's the case.
I feel like the issue is, though, you could have gave that VAR team 6 hours to look at that film and they still would have gave it against Rangers. And it's not because they've got a bias, because in no way, I think that there's no way that the SFA has a bias towards any team in the league. It's just incompetent officiating, and the referees should be full time.
I mean, it goes back to what we spoke about in the past. If it's going to get it rang up that often, you'd as well spending your money on other things in Scottish football.
Yeah.
Like development, I think. Anyway, I'll read the statement out. Club statement on Clancy. Rangers spokesman said, firstly, Rangers condemns in the strongest terms any abuse of the match officials. We are all passionate about our game, but targeted personal abuse of referees cannot be tolerated. The club can confirm that the Scottish FA has responded with regards to the disallowed goal by disallowed Alfredo Morelos goal, with the response claiming the correct decision was taken. The club is astonished by this, especially given most observers, including former referees and former players, could see no issue with the goal standing. This comes following a weekend in England where the PGMOL have offered an apology to Brighton and Hove Albion for a non-award of a penalty in their match with Tottenham Hotspur, along with a pledge to review the incident. While an apology does not alter the outcome of the match, such responsibility and openness would be welcome in Scotland. So, comments on that, guys?
I think it's obvious the difference between Scotland and England there. I mean, I was going to mention the Brighton incident, but it's happened numerous times over the last few weeks that there's been mistakes in games from VAR.
And always will be.
The mistakes are a part of the game. You can't, no matter how much you pay the officials, that's going to happen. But it's the lack of accountability from our governing body that hurts. It's different when it's England. Like, they can give you an apology. And you know. Yeah. But when they're not even taking into account the fact that they made a mistake, it's shocking.
Yeah, that's one aspect I agree with. Gordon, I'll ask you this question on it. The worrying thing for me is the fact that the English League can turn it around and say, we got that wrong. Yeah. But the Scottish League, they're not going to do it. They're just not going to say they got it wrong. You can see that they're convinced they got it right. And the professional referees that have analysed it, everybody said it should have stood.
The goal should have stood. I think when it comes to VAR, I think the issue in Scotland is that the goalfish will the Old Firm game, the referee is going to be, I think the referee's always going to have that bit of doubt in his mind. You know, should I give it or should I not give it? And I think what's unfortunate for Rangers in the last 24 hours is that the narrative has now moved from incorrect decision to abuse of the referee.
But that's how quickly Celtic's PR works. You've got to acknowledge it. They've
if any Rangers fan has been issuing personal threats or whatever, that's unacceptable.
We can't condone that.
Can't condone that. That's unacceptable. But I think that it's a shame that now the narrative is now moving on from mistake, and one mistake doesn't whether or not that would have changed the outcome of the game, we can only speculate. But it was disappointing because I thought that we played really well in the first half. I thought that hopefully we can go on and talk about the game in more detail now. But obviously this is a big talking point, so we need to obviously discuss it.
Well, it's good that Rangers have made a statement about it, but I don't think it's a very strong statement. I think they could have been a lot stronger. The other thing I'll say on it about, just to highlight what Gordon said there, in any other league in the world, what would happen is there would have been a story about the alleged, because we don't know exactly what happened and we don't condone it, any abuse or threats directed to the referee would be an entirely different story from the referee and the VAR team getting it wrong, and the two stories were done side by side. But what you're getting now is you can't talk about the Morelos goal because somebody's been sending threats to the ref, and that's when you realise our PR department don't exist and the Celtic PR department are professional. They've got in there right away and they've nullified the story.
Yeah, and they're good at what they do, and it's up to us to counteract that and be stronger, which we aren't at the moment.
How many weeks have we spoke about not having PR and how important that is?
Yep. So that's the incident. Obviously, the main kind of flashpoint from our point of view when it comes to refereeing. I'm not going to blame the referee for Rangers getting beat. We lost the game. What was your thoughts on? We'll go just split it into two halves because it was obviously big games. So, what was your thoughts on? What was your thoughts on the lineup first of all?
I thought that out with Connor Golson not playing, I think it was the strongest squad that we've got available. Out with Lawrence, who's long-term injury, so I don't want to include him just now. If I was to pick a team, that's the thing. I think it's not just me. I would say it's probably the team that most Rangers supporters would have picked to start. Goldson was a massive loss, but you can't do anything about an injury. And I think during the game, the only mistake he made in it, and I don't think it was a mistake in the selection, but Tillman the game seemed to have went past him again, and I would have maybe brought Sakala on earlier to replace him, or Arfield. However, I think he picked the right team.
Liv?
I think he picked the right team, but there just seems to be something missing that's not working, and I can't quite establish what it is that keeps going wrong.
Well, they need to be able to go over hurdles, whether they lose a goal and it gets chopped off. They need to have that resilience. I think they definitely need that.
I think
You could also argue they got the midfield right, definitely. Ranskin and I forgot his name now, Todd Cantwell. Watching the two of them and playing a full night. I think he played a full 90 minutes or two of them. So what I remember at the few shepherds at that point.
With 5 minutes to go.
Might have came off a few minutes to go, but I thought the two of them were outstanding.
I think losing the goal changed the dynamics. I mean, I see these wee knocks and everything, they do impact your performance.
100%.
To say that it doesn't matter or we would have lost anyway, that's just, no, I don't agree with that. In any sport, these little things change a total dynamics.
I think if we'd have won 1-0 up, we'd went on and won the game, but I do get what Gordon saying, we can't even really use that as a goal, because with two massive defensive blunders, which how many weeks, I know we're repeating myself on every subject, but it's the same stuff every week. How many times have Rangers made a defensive blunder that we hear that it's a one-off?
Well, we'll kind of break it down first. So Celtic took the lead. Again, Tavernier fails to stop the cross coming in. There's two Rangers Celtic defenders just on the 6-yard box, firmly sliding about trying to block the ball. They can't. And again, it's just a very similar kind of goal we lose against big teams and against Celtic in the last couple of years. Focus passing down the left or right hand side. They beat one or two, or they get the cross in. We don't block the cross. And Kyogo or whoever it is manages to get the finish. I thought it was like defensively we could have cleared the ball. If we stop the ball at source and don't allow crosses in, then we've got a much better chance of keeping a clean sheet or protecting our goals, because it just seems to be week in, week out, we're vulnerable on either side and we're vulnerable when crosses come in because we're not stopping the actual crosses before they come in.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know what you think of that.
I feel like the first goal, it's hard to take a lot of responsibility because we have got our first choice, or probably one of our first names on the team sheet out, Connor Goldson, and we've got a centre back that hasn't played 90 minutes at our club yet, and you've got Kyogo, who's just a brilliant striker, and it's hard to mark him, but you know we could definitely be doing better for the second two goals.
but so just to go back to what you're talking about there, Lewis, if you remember, last week and the week before that, I had a rant on here. The dog is stinking, going down you are minging.
Not like you ever rant, Simon, either. You surprised us all.
You will remember I did say Rangers are cruising the game against Dundee United. You play Suter and you replace Suter for the three centre halves at the back instead of putting Lundstrom there, and you give Suter as much game time as possible because you might need him. And no way am I claiming that we knew that we're going to be Connor Goldson down, but what's the point of getting Suter back and not giving him game time when he's vital to the team?
Yeah.
And that proved it.
I think we're guilty of that as well, because I thought at this point, I mean, Yanis Hadji made his return in, I think it was January, and he's still not playing over 20 minutes a game. It's I get that he was out for a year, but he should start playing, full 90s at this point.
We should be killing these teams off, the smaller teams off, and getting these players. So that's my point on that. I've seen a comment on this and I do agree. I've seen some people slaughtering Suter. I actually did think he had quite a good game. It was a hard game to come into. It's one of the hardest games you can get in football to come into Old Firms Arcade when you're not fully fit as well. But I thought he had a good game. He just made an absolutely horrendous blunder that people won't forget about.
I think it's not even that it's a ridiculously bad pass. It's a bad pass, but McGregor should be definitely.
If you watch it back, Ryan Jack doesn't do Suter any favours. Ryan Jack gives Suter a bad ball in the first place, and then Suter compounds it, and then McGregor. I'm not 100% sure what's going through McGregor's mind, but a younger goalkeeper. I like McGregor, but a younger goalkeeper would have stopped that. I think maybe he was afraid of picking the ball up because of the pass back rule. But even then, you take the free kick and the yellow card.
Aye, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Gordon. The point I would make on it was I don't know who was slower. After Suter makes an arse of it, he jogs back as if he's in shock that he's done it. But if you watch it again, he jogs back and it takes forever to go back. Well, she's jogging back. McGregor walks towards it.
Yeah, I know.
Was it Kyogo that scored? I don't know who it was. Jota scored that. He walks towards him and it's
60s porn star.
Puts the ball in the
Can you believe it?
puts the ball in the net. It's simple enough. It's a terrible goal to lose, but you need to me, no matter what happens in the pre-season, we need to address these silly mistakes because that's bad concentration, and I think it proves it once and for all. McGregor, his time as a Rangers goalkeeper is up. I think he's just old father time's caught up with him.
I think Celtic were quite on edge and nervous, so I didn't feel they had the strongest of games either, to be fair. I think we did make a big impact on them.
Rangers were a lot better than we expected them to be.
Yeah.
And I think Rangers were the better team. However, they came out and got the points. I would say that Ranskin in the team is a massive boost to Rangers. The boy Ranskin, he's going to be one of the players that knows how to play in an Old Firm game.
He does.
He settled in right away. I was shocked that he managed to play for the duration of the game because he came back for fitness from injury. But I thought he was one of the standouts in the team. I thought he was outstanding.
So we should catch up on some comments and then we can talk about.
A knife just before it came in.
We'll do some comments.
Let's
get your opinion, guys, and then we'll look at some positives. Okay, so Mark Aitken, this is the new Gers TV time. Mark, we don't want to fry your brain because we know you're up to speed with all the timings and the TV shows and the sports channels, etc. So don't let it affect you. This is the new Gers TV time, 7 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah. Aye.
We're just going to quickly talk about why we're doing that. We just feel with it being lighter weather, there's no Rangers are not in Europe or anything like that, and it gives people a better chance to watch it and then get, because at 8 o'clock's a wee bit late if it's going on to 9 o'clock at night, and then you're trying to get home and things like that. So we want to keep it go, see how it goes.
Yeah. A couple of comments about the refereeing decisions. So the first one, Clancy should have went over to look at it. Nick Walsh on the VAR should have told him to come and have a look. Yeah, we need full-time referees. I think the whole process was rushed, and it seems unbelievable that in an Old Firm game, the pressure cooker, the referees knowing the pressure on them, know they're going to get scrutinised. Why not take 20 or 30 seconds or a minute to look at it?
I can get advice.
I remember a few weeks ago reading that Ange Postecoglou and Celtic were unhappy with the time that referees were taking to make decisions. So I don't know if there's been any pressure put to bear on that, or they felt they've had to rush decisions. But for me, where is the harm in actually spending a couple of minutes, on a big game like that? You know, if Celtic win, they're going to win the league. If Rangers win, they've got a chance of coming back.
I mean,
And it's you know, middle, you know, just spend a minute looking at it.
they had no reason to rush because it wasn't as if our fans were even there to cause any aggro. And, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a ridiculous. The biggest disappointment of the decision was the fact that they never looked over.
Yeah.
Bad enough missing it, but
absolutely.
no looking it over just
Properly,
tells you.
yeah. David Stewart, another no show for Ryan Kent. Brought nothing to the game at the weekend. I think that's. I don't think Kent had a good game by any stretch of imagination, but to say he brought nothing to the game, remember that. I think Simon, you mentioned Tillman earlier. They draw defenders out. They create space for others to run into, and they draw a lot of fouls as well. I could be wrong, but it was. I think it was Tillman getting fouled that led to Tavernier's free kick, which we'll discuss in a minute. So. Yeah, he didn't have a great game. I don't think he had a good game at all. But I think to say maybe he brought nothing's that maybe a tiny bit harsh. But I don't know. It's your opinion, not mine.
My opinion on that is pre-season. If Tom Lawrence is fit, Tom Lawrence will replace Ryan Kent, and Ryan Kent will leave Rangers. And I think Lawrence will be a good replacement. I thought he showed a lot of great skills and character when he was playing at the start of the season. It was only a few games. Great touch. Definitely not scared to shoot. And I think he'll just be an automatic replacement. I think Ryan Kent's gone. I don't see him staying with Rangers.
Angus is saying we were never going to get a result. No mistake.
Okay, I think that maybe he's implying that the referees made sure of that. 100% sure. If it was Celtic that scored and Kyogo had his shot pulled, if a penalty or a goal would have stood, quite possibly.
I don't buy that though. I just don't think that there is any bias from the referees. I've never bought into that.
The problem is Clancy has got previous been with some really bad decisions.
Somebody below me has made that comment, so we'll get to that in a wee second.
Somebody's talking about the full-time foreign refs as well, but I've been reading a lot about that.
What's the reason? I've never ever really understood with the amount of money in football why we don't have
foreign refs,
professional refs.
Because, well, it's. I mean, if you look at the Scottish game, like teams like Ross County and St Johnstone don't want to pay an extra $50,000 a year each on these. These teams,
in England, top flight referees are top flight referees. In Scotland, top flight referees also go and referee League 2 games. You know, they're not exclusive to top flight.
That's right, they go up and down.
And so the English setup, obviously there's much more money in English football than the English Premier League and the English Championship. So they can afford it, and they've got sponsorship deals and all that. And I think refs get a couple of grand a week down there.
Yeah.
But so you'll never ever get that up here because I mean, look at the trouble we had at Introducing VAR in the first place. I mean, our VAR setup is like your shed, Simon. Do you know what I mean? Like, no offence to your shed, but
I don't
that
think
where they were sitting?
that's probably where they were sitting, right?
I mean, after what happened in the Liverpool game at the weekend, I don't know if asking for English refs is probably the best thing, because I don't know if you saw, but one of the linesmen elbowed Andy Robertson in the head.
Well, no, but here's the thing, right? So some of the decisions, some of the abuse that referees get, linesmen get, is a disgrace, and nothing ever happens to these players. So to see a kind of linesman kind of moving the elbow towards something, reacting, it's he's probably suffered that week in week out for 6, 7, 8 years, and he's just probably snapped. Your referees are human beings that do make mistakes. I don't think it's incompetency, but that's why you've got VAR. So go to VAR, a big goal, big game disallowed. Go to VAR and say, right, take a step back, go to VAR, analyse it, look at it, get someone else's opinion, and then go, right, okay, go with your gut.
Yeah, I think that as well. Ali McCoy's made a good. I'm not a great fan of his commentary, but McCoy's made a really good point on that incident when he said the VAR looked as if they did look at the incident at all, they looked at it from one angle and made a decision.
That's true.
And that's the wrong angle they've looked at it.
Once again, that happened in Europe last season, and I don't know if you remember the Borussia Dortmund game where there was an angle that showed the player kicking our player, and then the goal still got disallowed. So we're never going to get it. It's good.
Anyway, let's carry on with the comments. Who's reading them?
Who took a turn?
What did you just say?
I said we can all take a turn.
You spoke this fast. Okay, Morelos' strengths get the better of him. and Johnston been doing after it goes under him. It's the most blatant goal I've ever seen. Betfair, as you know, had odds of 1 to 14 on the goal would stand on live odds.
I don't know how they get the time to do
Yeah,
that.
I don't know how that one works, but
I don't know.
So down, we'll carry on with
Sarah's saying hi. Hi, Sarah.
They changed the betting system for that.
I don't know, it's just live, so there's live
Yeah.
markets. Jim Man, this is what you were saying, Simon. What people on the table, Clancy's history with Rangers.
Yeah.
Kent at Love Street, and we booked him in an instant, but VAR told him to look at it. It ended up being a penalty. Morelos at Easter Road, so yeah. I think there's a little bit of history there. I actually think if it was MD else but Morelos, the goal probably would have stood.
I agree with that.
I do think that
so.
unfortunately
Well, we spoke about
Morelos' reputation has got the better of him
So
as
that's-
well.
I know you were off last week on the bell, Gordon, but
It's not what you mean. I was
no, because you might not know the comment. We spoke about this. Somebody actually posted on the forum, if you remember, that he said that if Morelos is playing and Clancy's a referee, that he'll either get booked, he'll be sent off, or something like that. He'll lose
That's
a goal.
right, somebody did that.
So we actually spoke about Clancy's history with
makes sense
of
then,
Fiddle Morelos.
That
as
is a
well
really
as,
good point then.
Rangers.
It could
It
have
was
been
spoken about.
because
Yeah.
he's got previous of...
The reason I'm saying with you not being here, you said you were in your bed sick. I'm just wondering if you were watching it, you knew about it after. But we did speak about it, we weren't expecting it. Keep the comments coming in so we keep up to date.
It's in my
Get
sick
Lily
bed, yeah.
in my hair here.
Okay now.
Suitor for me was having a decent game until the
Somebody
mistake.
was saying
Our
that, is that
problems
true about the
line of
players
third.
getting
How's that?
abuse? The players getting abuse or
Aye,
something?
but it happens all the time.
Does it?
Yeah.
walking out of Celtic Park is.
I think the difference is that cameras are everywhere now. They were filming it. I
so-
don't think it's anything.
We are the people on YouTube make a point that Beale knows how to play against Celtic now. I'm not convinced he actually does because we've yet to win. At the moment, he's only 2 of his own. Yeah, I don't. I kind of get what you're saying. I think he knew how to play for the second half of his first game at Ibrox until the last 10 minutes.
Definitely.
He didn't know how to play in the first half of the game at Parkhead. And he to be fair enough, he seemed to learn from his mistakes on Saturday and probably sent out the strongest team he could. So I think he is learning. I just it's just a strange one because we're now used to losing these games. So and I still think Cantwell's trying too hard to impress, but
He'll settle.
he
down.
will be a good player, I'm sure.
He'll settle down and he'll be a really good midfielder for Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what the point of Beale knows how to play against Celtic now. I mean, they're obviously as a golfing class, and we go into most Old Firm games now expect like the bookies have us not as the favourites, right? Let's just say that they're the better team at the minute, and the results are improving. We're slowly playing better, and
We're a lot closer to them than they made it from the start of the season. What I would say was the League Cup the Scottish Cup semi-finals a must win for Rangers now. We need to do everything we can to win it, and that would then set us a wee bit. I would give us a bit more belief in the summer for Beale. But I do agree he's only got a few players in. It's going to be a hard rebuild for him, but I've still got the faith in him. Do you want to get the comments out of the way and then we'll speak about Tavernier?
Yeah, so no standouts, all the teams bang average. I think Raskin was a standout. I think Raskin played really well. Golson was injured. Right, Liz, good to see you in the water.
I thought somebody seen me swimming there for a minute. You don't want to see that.
In the water. So in a long post here, I'm trying to get it out as best I can. So I think Rangers got in their faces. Arthur made Hart make like a blunder. Yep, second half they came out to get 2 goals. I think, I think we played. I think we played well and on spells. David Hare made a very good point. I don't know if David's watching tonight, but I hate using this phrase. I don't like to talk about Rangers in this way, but he said that winners find a way to win and losers find a way to lose. And unfortunately, on Saturday we did find a way to lose.
We need to find a way to start winning again.
So this is the problem. So I think I don't know. There's no name here, but he's saying Raskin, or she was saying Raskin was a man of the match. I agree with that. I think that Tillman. I think if you watch the game back, you might see Tillman actually plays a little bit better than we thought because he draws a lot of fouls and he draws a lot of defenders.
He's a young
out
lad
to
as
get
well.
him.
He's only a young boy.
I don't think he was great. I think him and Cantwell were average. They played very similar.
I think as well this is Tillman's first full season as a professional football player, if I'm right.
Yeah. 20. He's only played for the Bayern Munich B team at the minute.
So you need to cut him a wee bit of slack with that because when I was one of the ones shouting at him, I love a boy, but you all get carried away when you're watching the game. But He's the future.
Yeah.
He is the future, and
Yep.
he's 20, and I mean, you look at some of the players on our team and on their team that, you know, the first few old firms they took a while to get firing, but once they're firing, they
Once
start
you know what
playing.
it's all about,
Yeah.
aye.
So Alistair Caithness is asking, no, let us know it's a penalty for holding on to Jack. Yeah, there was a couple of others, a couple other incidents throughout the game as well. I think there's a picture of Morelos' shirt getting tugged as well, which
That
gives
was
a
a
penalty.
penalty. I didn't see that at the time. I'll be honest with that one, but
That's what VAR's meant
that's
to be there
the
for.
whole point of. The whole point of VAR is if you miss it and and they catch it.
Duncan Cameron's asking just on this point, what's your thoughts on Tillman's been worth 5 to 6 million? At the moment, probably not, but potentially he's worth 2 or 3 times that. So yeah,
I think the problem is if you're going to be there's two ways I would look at it. First of all, he's a young player with his whole career ahead of him, so he probably is worth it for that because I think he will get better and better and better. When you buy a player at that kind of money, though, you're buying him because you want him to play good in games like the Old Firm. Without a doubt, there's no point in being good against Motherwells and that if you don't play good against Celtic, and he's struggled so far with that.
Yep.
However, I would give him the benefit of the doubt as a young boy, and I think he might be just worth he's certainly more value for money than Sands, and I know Sands is going now.
Should we open the phone lines? It's now 5:30, so we are
open the
aiming
phone
to
lines.
get finished in 10-15 minutes or so. So
On that Tillman point,
put the phone line. If anyone wants to call in, give us an opinion, please do. We'll open the phone lines. Anyone wants to give us a quick call, let us know what you thought about the game in general as well.
And we'll get, if you want to let us know your opinion on James Tavernier, 100 goals for Rangers.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We've got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. The Gers TV. Hit it.
So there you have it, the phone number 01413195230. If you want to give us a wee call, let us know your opinion on the game at the weekend. If you don't leave your last 3 digits, we won't be taking the call.
Not on a day like this. Not
And
on
if you
a
phone,
few days
if you phone 20
after.
times, we still won't be taking the call. And if you leave a message, we won't be listening to it. So we get it all the time, every week, and the same, that's abuse.
I just
We've got limit.
back to that.
Leave a Vardy.
Back to that
Election.
Tillman point, is Tillman worth 5 or 6 million? We sold Joe Aribo in the last year of his contract for 10 million, and he was 26.
Yeah.
And Tillman is, I think, much better player than him at 20 years old.
Yeah.
So
You could argue with it. Scoring in a European final does add to your value, but I do agree.
Yeah.
I think Tillman's one of the ones we just need to. When he's on his game, you can see the skill and the quality the boy's got, and he's a young player.
Yeah.
And I think if Rangers get it, see if we can win the semi-final against Celtic, and a boy like that's playing in the team, that'll change. It'll change how he plays in the game. He's just got to learn. He's got a lot to learn in games like that.
it'll be like he'll score that one goal or he'll get that one assist and he'll start firing.
Yeah.
It's that confidence thing. It's the mindset. It's so massive.
We hope so. We hope so anyway.
Absolutely.
Everybody's want to give us a wee call. You have the numbers, guy. We're on for another 20 minutes. Hi everyone.
Good to see you.
One of the Gers team. I missed that one at the time.
Go for it.
Where's the dog? Somebody's asking.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Good to see you. Where's the salt? Oh, aye. So I don't understand this comment. Sorry. Hi everybody.
He's,
Just we can
he's,
see where's all the salt.
he's from Holland. I know that. He's from Rotterdam,
Okay.
I'm sure.
So,
See that Rotterdam or Rome.
where's the
Eh,
saw?
Clarence shouldn't have been allowed to roll Fungi after December 29.
What?
There's Duncan
Duncan.
Cameron phoning.
I'll take a call. Hi Duncan, how you doing, mate?
Hi, how you doing? Si, alright?
As good as can be, mate. After that result of the weekend, we're starting to perk up a bit now.
Oh, I know, mate, I know. Nightmare. What I'm phoning about is the VAR thing, right?
Right.
And what I don't understand is why it's no more transparent than what it is said.
Agreed.
Yep.
I mean, when you hear the referee, making a decision, you don't know if it's going to go to VAR or no, or that's the... Why can it not be more like cricket? Right? I know there's not many people up here like cricket, but they've got real good rules when it comes to, reviewing.
Yep.
The team that is reviewing is allowed so many appeals.
Right. I didn't know that.
So it's like
For
3 each.
instance, on Saturday, why could we know went up to the ref and went, hey, they're appealing that. You think that was a good goal? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
So
a really good point.
like cricket and tennis, they've got I think it's called challenges, and they've got 3, and they can go up and say right. So we want you to review that properly. If
Good
it's,
point.
and then it's done, and then if they get it right, then they still get 3. If not, they get 2 right. So yeah, it's a very good point, Duncan.
Aye.
Also,
I
and
mean,
also,
it's too fake.
Does it
Yeah.
not,
It's too fake even down south.
does it not happen in rugby as well?
For a couple of years now.
Aye, Duncan, I think
It's
some.
fake down there as well.
What's the deal with rugby? They've got
It's-
something that's
they-
quite
they-
transparent.
you can hear them talking.
Yeah, you can hear them talking.
Aye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Aye.
so you hear them talking. So every refereeing decision is transmitted throughout the stadium as well. So
I mean, if you're going to use technology, use technology.
yeah,
Use
I mean,
it at your advantage.
yeah. I mean, in rugby, you can't even look at the ref without getting sent away for 5 minutes. It's admin. That's how strict they are.
Aye.
Right.
So.
Well, that's a sport I'm not in there at all.
No, neither am
That's
I.
right.
I just know that one part of it, that's all.
But honestly, I mean, why can it not just be simpler? You know,
Yeah.
you know, you're relying on decisions, and you don't even know if it's going too far or no.
Aye,
Yeah.
It takes a wee bit of enjoyment out of it.
More transparent.
You lose a wee bit of enjoyment because of that weight, I think, as well. Duncan, what's your opinion on Rangers' statement, and do you think it was a strong enough statement, or what's your opinion on
No,
it?
no, it's definitely not strong enough. But we don't want to look, don't want to sound like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the
That's
point.
you know.
There's a balance you need, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the point I was making at the start of the show, where I wouldn't say it's the reason we lost, but it doesn't help anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
No, but hang on, I will be back anyway.
Yeah.
So,
We will.
I thought we got a wee point.
Aye,
No,
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 that's
thanks
a
very
really
much.
good point.
And,
To be fair, you've educated me in that. I didn't know how the cricket system worked.
yeah, no, that's a good point.
I didn't.
That's a very good point.
Right, all the best, guys.
Cheers, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Right, bye.
Cheers.
So
Dunk,
that's a really good point.
Duncan's point's really knocked you for 6.
So it is, I think. Anyone for cricket.
He's bowled over by that, isn't
I've
he?
not missed this part.
He's bowled over. So the dog's
Anyway.
here.
That's a good point, because what he's saying is that if you're
No,
going,
I wasn't pointing. I was pointing there. By the way,
people are asking
I
if
was
the dog's
pointing
here.
there, just so you know. I was genuinely pointing there.
There's a dog there. It is a dog that does the snoring, the farting, and the growling.
Oh my god.
Right. I know it is a good point. If you're going to use technology, use it to the best of your ability, and that would make sense that the two teams can basically. So Rangers and Celtic could have said that at one point in the game. Look at the VAR again.
Yeah.
Aye, that's
I
a good
totally
point.
agree with you, like it's taking enjoyment and sitting waiting to see
I
if
hear it.
something that is right or when something's blatantly right,
You're
but
sitting there
it
with
might go wrong.
Especially if you're in the
It's
pub.
like a game
Aye.
show.
If you're in the pub, you're going like
Aye.
that. Oof, drink away. So quickly catch your comments up, right, and we'll see. We'll get a wee chat about time.
Someone's asking where the beers are. There was plenty of that.
Somebody's
Saturday,
saying
there was
that
too
The
much
beers
of
are
that.
coming back soon.
We're confident that we're going to beat Celtic at the end of the month.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
think so. I think that we're going up. Just
Yeah,
we're getting
We're
closer.
getting better. Listen, we're still optimistic.
Yeah, I think last season, I don't know why, but last season we were kind of not favourites for the semi-final last season, even under Gio,
Something else,
and
innit?
we got the results. So I think we're better than we were last season under Gio in the semi-finals. So
And if we
got the
do,
results.
if
So
we do win the semi-final, I'll be drinking Mary Tequila Roses because I didn't even know we were drinking them tonight.
Oh,
found out
I
the night
don't
I
know
was
what
drinking,
happened. I had to carry my
I've
pal.
only told you about 5 times I can't drink shots, and you're like, get another one.
I'll be sticking to the Diet Coke.
Good thing is we won't have a midweek 120 minutes to
Yeah.
right before the semi-final.
This is true.
So
Yeah.
James Tavernier, I spoke about him last week. It's a bit like Marmite. Some love him, some hate him. He scored 100 goals for Rangers, and it's what a goal he scored. That goal he scored the free kick.
Absolutely carried us on his back at the weekend.
I thought he was great. I thought he played brilliant at the weekend. I know other people, you can have your opinions on him, and I get what people say about him not being a captain.
I think.
But 100 goals in 10 years' time, if you say, tell me somebody that scored. We were speaking before, guys like Derek Pardine, Colin Stein, didn't he score 100 goals?
Correct.
It's a massive
I
achievement.
think on Saturday, I've said in this show a few times about his leadership qualities, especially no fun games. But I think on Saturday, I think for the first time, for me, it was by far and away his best game against Celtic. He showed leadership qualities, and at half, to step up and score that goal right in half time was fantastic. Even the pressure, the expectation, the goal itself was exquisite. And when they come out
That was
for
a bit exquisite.
when Simon, just because
Normally that was a belter. Exquisite.
well, you said to us before the show, let's try and take it up a level. Right?
Okay, so we're exquisitely going up a
Ah,
level.
okay,
up a level.
right. So you've knocked my confidence now.
No, it was a
And then
good
at
goal.
the start of the second half, you can see him
Oh,
before the team's going out. You can see him in the tunnel,
Gene him up.
geeing the players up. So I think for the first time, I've really genuinely noticed in a big game, against Celtic for sure, certainly. Tavernier really stepped up and led the team, and I thought he played absolutely. I thought people say Raskin was our best player, but actually, on retrospect, that means looking back.
Understand it. I know what Raskin means.
That means that I change my mind and say Tavernier was probably a man of the match followed by Raskin.
I mean,
I'll tell you what would have changed the decision of who was the man of the match for everybody was Tavernier was so unlucky not to get the hat trick with the header.
Yeah.
And if he'd have got the header, that would have won the game for Rangers, I think, because the way the game was going at the time.
Yeah.
Rangers were playing fantastic football, and I think we'd done win it. And without doubt, that would have been the Tavernier.
Yeah, I think you know it was a great performance by Tavernier.
Hat trick.
It was.
And
that free kick is just like the words aren't there to describe how good that free kick is. Considering you've not got any away support.
Probably the wrong show then. We just had some dead air for a bit.
No away support to cheer you on. Nothing. You step up, and it is a rifle, and it's probably goal season.
You can't hit it in the better.
Do you think having no away fans actually galvanised Rangers?
But does that mean Galvin? Why we got an Oxford dictionary tonight?
I'm just trying to annoy him. I'm actually just trying to annoy him.
Please
no,
send a Glasgow here.
Motivated.
I will never be.
I agree. Yes, it did.
I don't think it did. I'll never be a big fan. I'm no fans of football. I think football should always be about supporters. Yeah.
Don't agree.
No,
with it.
I agree. Yeah, sorry, on you go.
I agree with you. What you're saying.
A lot of people do actually.
It might galvanise them once or twice, but if it's
Surprise me.
constant, if you're constantly playing with one team and not having supporters and reversing it, the team and the supporters is going to win the game.
No, I totally agree with
But
what
you
you're
could
saying.
be right. They played as if it's almost as if they played in that inspired them a wee bit.
Yeah.
Of course, I pushed them. It took them out of their comfort zone and they had to step up.
Let's
but I
get-
don't agree with it.
Let's catch up with the comments here. We've got a few minutes left. If you want to call in, what's the number? Do you want to give us it?
0141 319 523.
There you
Okay.
go.
Georgie, good evening. Facebook user, Tillman's well worth the money. I think Tillman's worth the money. Tillman is very much worth 5-6 million now, absolutely.
Matondo gets it every week this show,
sure.
didn't he?
Aye.
I'm number one Matondo defender. See when Matondo comes and wins our player of the season next season, you'll hear me ranting and raving.
So Mark Dunnett will be in Greece. That's
great.
well done.
Yep. For the Old Firm game.
Causing a
Anyway,
good point.
it's wicked we get rid
Got a
of
few.
the old would the better. I agree with that, but we know that we can't date to the end of the season.
Yep, so Tavernier, 100 goals in the player and a team is superb, absolutely right. David Hurd, hi David. Tavernier had Madeira against him and sparked him out of the game at the same time as scoring twice. He actually defended well, even though most will never admit that. I thought Tavernier was the best player. I think that he could have been a little bit sharper and maybe blocking the cross for the first Celtic goal, but I think overall it was his best performance against Celtic I've seen Tavernier play.
Forgot that Maeda even played,
I mean,
to be honest.
It's back to what we were speaking about last week again, and Vivian will remember. A lot of people just don't want to admit that when Tavernier plays well, there's a kind of people just to go to the point where they don't want him to play with Rangers.
That's a good point, yeah.
And I think sometimes he is underrated. There's times
Yes.
you've seen me on Facebook
I
criticising him,
think he is underrated actually.
but there is times when he does play well. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves as well.
Yeah.
Evening Bells, that's Scott in Berlin. We need new players as soon as possible. Well,
yeah,
that's not going to happen to pre-season, unfortunately.
So
we've still got the boy Lovelace that can come in. There's a few more comments to catch up on. Is that them all?
no.
I think
So
that's all.
okay, so Paul, all we really wanted to talk about tonight was your Firm game because it was obviously such a big game. So we're going to try and do a couple more shows a week, but kind of shorter, sharper
20
shows.
minutes or something.
I was practicing all night trying to say that in my head there.
Like it. Sure,
so,
sharper.
Shorter, sharper shows. So thanks very much for joining us. Thanks for all your comments.
Like and share. That's
Like
the
and
main
share.
thing. A lot of people didn't realise we're on at 7 tonight. We're going to try and change it because 8's a wee bit late. We've all got families and all stuff to deal with stuff. Lewis has got school, so we're on early. It's just to try it out. I think it's worked. I like the 7 o'clock start. To be fair, it gives us time to do stuff later on.
Absolutely.
So if you can share it, it lets people that didn't get a chance to watch it tonight watch it
Yeah.
at another time.
And it'll be on YouTube, it'll be on our Facebook, it'll be on our website, www.thegers.tv. There's some fantastic articles, not just about football on there now as well, so please check them out. That's www.thegers.tv. Thanks so much for your company tonight. Thanks for all for your comments and support. And always remember, we are
The people.